So, with the Japan and France game ending and Side B starting back up again as the main focus of the main story of the manga, I was thinking, with seeing such how a good dynamic duo Loki and Hugo has been, it got me curious for the inevitable that we had with the Nagi and Sae team up, and I was like, hypothetically, right, if this does really happen, which I'm 100% confident that it will, if this does happen, how strong would this duo be? Now, I'm not talking about in a sense of like true scaling because as of the moment, Sai is pretty ambiguous as to where he's at, and Nagi's only like solid growth standpoint right now is what he did in the New Eagles League, and that's not really a good showcase of like his motivational state besides like the five stage revolver and the second half of the game where he's actually doing stuff instead of like not trying, right? But the main purpose of this video is to just flesh out and kind of go over Sai and Nagi and how they would perform as a duo and how strong would they be as a duo compared to the other duos in Blue Lock, like Kaiser and Hisagi and Hugo and Loki. I'm specifically naming those two duos because those two duos have been the only two in the series where we have genuinely seen like be able to either completely just shut down world class plays or like be able to make them within like a whim. Like be like it's just so easy, it's second nature. Isagi and Kaiser was capable of shutting down Ren, somebody who was capable of just like easily dominating them by himself at that point, right? And Loki and Hugo, I shouldn't have to remind you guys, absolutely destroyed a way stronger version of Japan than the characters that we do have in the New Eagles. But enough of that yet. Let me just get into it. So, starting off first with just going over the basics. We already are aware with Nagi in particular that his level does actually change depending on who he's passing to. And what I mean by that, and what you'll see on the screen is a panel of Chris Prince talking about how Nagi, his skill level fluctuates depending on who his passer is due to him not using strategy and kind of skill himself, so he relies on whatever his passer does. So no matter what his passer does or how his passer acts, he should always be relative to whoever his passer or his midfielder is or whoever's receiving or whoever's sending him the pass for him to receive. He should be either on their level or somewhere near it, or if he's not on their level, he should be able to reach it due to the fact that he has to react to their pass and perform a crazy trap in order to do so and make a successful play. But the biggest kind of ick I kind of have with this is that would mean that Nagi's level is always going to fluctuate to the point where there's a high chance that he won't be playing at his full capacity, or there's a chance that he'll be playing at his full capacity, but his teammate isn't at that level, so it's kind of hindering him, right? And honestly, he probably won't have that problem with Sai. And why I say that is because Sai and the U20 are right before the U20 game picked up Shido. And by the way, Shido definitely does know more about soccer than Nagi, but I wouldn't say Shido uses strategy or, some advanced formula like some of our other characters do. It's more of a you go to the penalty box and you score. And Sai took a character like that and made him use his brain to make a reflex X reflex goal and just a bunch of early crazy goals that we already had. So basically in my head, how I look at that is like, okay, so let's take Shido and replace him with Nagi. And you put Nagi in that situation where a player that does not use his brain and does not know that much about soccer, and you give Sai full reign to do whatever he wants with this player, nothing but a carnival of chaos is going to happen in its reign, right? And for Sai's part, we don't really need to talk much about him. We're already aware of what he can do. Easy reflex goals. Pretty much can dribble and pass through pretty much anybody on the field. I mean, like, it's not really much to talk about. If Nagi can run consistent 1-2s with Rayo on a like world class high level like he was in the Manchine game, then I can just imagine what Sai could do with a version of him like that. But we're talking about the current Nagi, which is a motivated version of him, which should be either just as strong, if not even stronger, because his drive is even harder now. But it should be at a level to the point where it should be a higher skill level than what Nagi could do on the Manshine because he's playing with a better midfielder. And I do think that's not insane to say. I think he's playing with a better midfielder. And on Manshine, it's already stated that he had infinite possibilities with what he could have done. And I'm not gonna lie, I do think Sai has higher field intelligence and more analytical ability to make those possibilities bloom even more. But the main thing is, if you deal with Nagi and Sae, you're probably going to have to deal with a high level combination of just power plays. Because Shido was already able to do something similar, and Nagi is better at loosening his body when he traps the ball than Chris. So on every pass, it's getting received. Like it's nothing. Like, promise you, it's literally going to be like a magnet is on Nagi's foot. But this dynamic duo should be theoretically stronger than Usagi and Kaiser. Now, Loki and Hugo is honestly interesting. It kind of depends on, it's really dependent on where you view Sai. If you view Sai the same level you view Hugo, then they're only slightly below them, right? Because the difference between Nagi and Loki is, of course, an absurdity. It's pretty gigantic. So they can't really get to that cat just because Hugo and Loki is the best dynamic duo in the series right now. But as far as a dynamic duo goes on how strong they would be on a team, they would be second to them without a second doubt in my mind. I don't think there's another duo that would be able to touch them in the U20 arc besides like maybe Isagi and Sai, or Bunny and maybe whoever his midfielder is, if he has a midfielder. But just in general, Nagi and Sai, we already know will be in the Barracuda 3. They should be a team up. And if they do team up, I would argue and just theorize that this would be one of the most cataclysmic duos in the series because one hasn't really realized his own potential yet and can meet the levels of any passer that is given to him. And he doesn't know that much about soccer. And the other one is a instant prodigy that can deliver accurate passes and insta just curve locks without like needing to sweat or like needing to like perspire. So it's just like, yeah, it's just something I just wanted to shine a light on because that's something we're probably getting very, very soon. And I think that's probably might just be the best duo in Blue Lock if they play it right. If Nagi can get strong enough to kind of make that gap between him and Loki not that gigantic, I think it can definitely happen. With Nagi's boundless potential, Sai can definitely unlock that and just make it just unstoppable. It's something I genuinely want to see. That's probably why I'm so passionate about it and I want to see it because it's something I genuinely want to see. I think it's going to be one of the best points in the manga where we finally get to see what Sai is capable of, and we get to see what he's capable of with a really good striker that we want to see come back, or at least I want to see come back. I don't know about you niggas, but I want to see Nagi come back. But that is pretty much all for this vid. If you liked it, I would appreciate a sub, a like, and how do you feel about Nagi and Sae being a duo, and do you think that there are potentially more exciting duos that I should talk about or anything else of that manner? Now, I will say, I know I did promise you guys Hugo versus Loki would be the next video, but I'm putting a lot of effort into it, so that's probably going to take just slightly longer, which is why I'll drop this one. So expect Hugo versus Loki, maybe I'd say like Saturday, Sunday, maybe around that area, maybe Monday if I'm pushing it, but it should somewhere be around the weekend, right? To let this video marinate. With Hugo versus Loki will probably be the same length of this video, if not longer, because it's going to be a video for the ages. Maybe my best video, I'd say. I'm hyping that up, but watch that shit flop, right? I'm glazing it, but I watch it not do that well, right? But I will see you guys in the next one, and peace.